Sorry in advance in case anybody's sensitive, but have you ever heard the expression, you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground? Well, believe it or not, I think this is actually invented by a Tai Chi master. And if you'd like to find out why I say that, stick around because I'll be right back. It's David-Dorian Ross from David-Dorian-Ross.com and TaiChiFit.net, and welcome to another episode of Learn Tai Chi at Home. It is day number 79 of 100 days of Tai Chi. This is a video series, a video project in which I am teaching you the traditional Yang family long form of 103 movements in 100 days. Now, if this is your first time on this channel and you're here because you like to learn Tai Chi at home so that you can find better health, so that you could live longer but feel younger, so that you can find some inner peace and tranquility, or to defend yourself against attackers, you're in the right place. And all you have to do to get started learning with me is simply hit that subscribe button, because I've got tons of lessons on this channel that I know you'll be interested in. Now, today's movement is called High Pat on Horse with a palm strike. And it involves a particular kind of footwork. It's actually just one step. It's a pretty simple piece of footwork, pretty simple movement altogether, but it is a shift from one foot to the other foot. And it involves a certain principle known as empty and full. Now, empty and full leads to a very interesting phrase in Chinese language. I'm going to tell you all about that right after we jump into the lesson, so let's just dive into it. Now, high pat on horse is a pretty simple movement. It's basically just one half a step even, coming from a bow step, the Tai Chi lunge at the end of single whip, and shifting backwards, bringing one foot in a little bit closer and a little bit narrower to make an empty step for high pat on horse. So I'm going to show you the footwork here, but the principle involved is what's known as emptying. Now, all along this series, I've been talking about emptying out the front foot when we sit back, or emptying out one foot to step in. But I haven't really talked about the fact that this is a fundamental principle in Tai Chi known as empty and full. Now, empty and full is going to get its own video, its own lesson, but essentially it means that in any position there is more commitment on one side than there is in another. In a physical sense, when all the weight is on one foot, that's the full foot, and the other foot that bears no weight is the empty foot. At any particular time, we are settling into one side or the other. For example, in our Tai Chi lunge, the bow lunge, it's 60-40. And then when I go to make a transition, when I go to move away from that, I shift so that the weight comes out of that front foot, and that's what's called emptying. But here is the principle. To empty means to let all the weight, all the commitment, all of the contact with the ground drain out. And what most people do in order to change weight is actually, for a moment, push harder into the front foot in order to push themselves back into the back foot. And this actually makes your energy stall for just a heartbeat. And in that moment, first of all, the circulation of your internal energy takes a hiccup. And second of all, in a martial application, your opponent could take advantage of that like that. So empty and full means, do you really know where your weight is and what you're doing with it? The phrase is actually quite common in Chinese language. It's called fen qing shu shi. It means clearly, be clear. Do you know about empty and full? Distinguish them, separate them apart. Full is full, empty is empty. And you can't get empty by going more full. So in this movement today, coming into high pat on horse, we are going to sit back. Now, this is a movement, as simple as it is, that can cause people a lot of problems because they lose their balance. And the key is here is to imagine draining or pouring sand, or just sort of flipping the switch so that all the weight goes into the back foot. Nothing in the front foot. Don't push off. Don't commit more and then sit back. Just like let it go, empty it out, and the back foot receives it all. And when the back foot has finally received it all, you kind of sit down into it, then the front foot can move anywhere, right? The front foot is empty. Okay, let's take a look at the whole movement all together. Then I'm going to do the footwork, and then we'll do the hands. First, let's just look at the footwork. Sitting back will empty out the front foot. The waist is going to turn to the right, which will rotate that front leg in. Then you pick up the front foot and step into an empty step. Here it is from the front view. Now let's take a look at just the hands. As you sit back and the waist turns to the right, the left hand turns palm up. Squaring off the hips then will fold the right arm in, which will then press out across the top of the left palm. Here it is from another angle. Turning in, squaring off the hips and folding in the right arm, then pushing the right hand forward, palm over palm. From a slightly different angle, step in. Here is the squaring of the hips and the push forward. All right, brilliant. Let's take a look at this movement one more time in mirror view, which means that this is your chance to follow me.